What's up, guys, and welcome back to our How Powerful series. Yesterday we explored more of an obscure character, so today we figured we would talk about a character that a lot of people know and is a fan favorite. We're of course going to be talking about General Grievous, but we're going to make the distinction of Legends continuity Grievous, because canon Grievous is a complete and an utter joke. He's had moments where he's fighting a Padawan level Ahsoka, and Ahsoka is keeping pace with him. I don't think that Padawan Ahsoka would beat General Grievous, but I think anybody that knows passing knowledge of General Grievous from Legends continuity knows that he would absolutely curb stomp a Padawan anything.
Ahsoka would have died in a literal second.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, General Grievous in Legends continuity, I know a lot of people that aren't fans of Legends, they don't really realize how powerful Grievous is. I think it's safe to say that everybody that watches my channel is pretty well equipped and knows a lot about Legends Grievous.
Yeah.
Because all the time in the comments I see how much of a monster they think he is and how much of a monster he is. And really, one of the biggest complaints from Star Wars The Clone Wars that I've seen hardcore Legends fans have is that they completely and utterly nerf General Grievous, which is, again, a big reason why in this video specifically I want to talk about Legends Grievous. Later on down the line, I do have plans to talk about canon Grievous. We do. But for this one, I want to talk about the complete and utter monster that is Legends Grievous. A Grievous that kills, as you put off recording, Jedi of all different sorts of levels, Padawans, Knights, Masters, Council members. He has dozens of Jedi kills under his belt where canon Grievous has significantly less.
Yeah, it's what he's designed to do. He knows every single form of lightsaber combat. He's able to analyze what a Jedi's fighting style or a Sith's fighting style is instantly and calculate the best way to combat that. He's not only incredibly fast, able to dish out, I think, 12 lightsaber strikes in 1 second?
Something like that,
And then not only is he fast, but he's just incredibly strong. He's able to, basically walk on any surface. He's able to ground himself if there was ever some sort of force attack where he'd be able to, cling to a surface or, the floor.
He's also incredibly fast, where he can evade force-based attacks incredibly easily, actually.
He's just got, this physical prowess by design. He's the most advanced, droid Jedi killer, essentially.
He was given those that ability to move so quickly, those reflexes, to actually emulate the Force, because Grievous was actually intended at one point in time to have the Force. Dooku was going to attempt to imbue him with the midichlorians, or the blood of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, who was Dooku's close friend and was killed by Dooku, essentially. And it was his plan to transfer the blood over to Grievous in hopes that Grievous could actually use and manipulate the Force. Thank goodness for all involved that he couldn't, though. Because if Grievous could use the Force on any level, even close to a Jedi, Legends Grievous conceivably could be on the level of a Darth Vader, if not more powerful. Yeah. And I know that that's a crazy statement to say, but we've talked about this before, but Legends continuity General Grievous is on the same effectiveness of killing Jedi as Darth Vader is.
Yeah. There's even a moment where Palpatine expresses fear of Grievous because of his potential. He's just so intimidating and fast and powerful. And as far as the Darth Vader connection, he's just in the way that Darth Vader is a Jedi killer, Grievous is literally designed to just destroy all enemies in his presence. And he's almost a mockery to the Jedi. I think he's even described as a perversion of lightsaber combat or something like that.
Yeah.
He's just insulting to Jedi. It's really cool.
He's designed outright in the the way he looks and the way he fights too. His whole battle prowess, his mind in a lightsaber engagement or even a large scale engagement, is to be deceptive and to take out his enemies as quickly as possible. He knows that against a Jedi such as Obi-Wan Kenobi that can remain level-headed, that he probably doesn't have the advantage because Obi-Wan has the Force, a Jedi like Mace Windu has the Force. So his whole goal is to terrify them to the fact where they're so focused on their fear that it literally disrupts their ability to tap into the Force momentarily, and Grievous can take them out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's something that's important too to remember about different Jedi, especially that the Force isn't something that everybody has the ability to use at their full power instantly. It's something that could take a moment of focus. That way they could really channel all the energy they can to deliver whatever blow they want. But if you don't have the time to focus, you might not be able to actually be very effective in the Force. So that's like Grievous's whole strategy, is he needs to catch you kind of off guard with his intimidation, his speed, the fear that he could generate, and that's his biggest advantage. And he's, like I said, he's designed for that. He's designed to show up in the face of a Jedi and throw them off, catch them off guard, and then destroy them. Because there's a thing where, because he doesn't have the Force, he definitely walks in at a disadvantage. He has the advantage of lightsaber combat probably to most everybody.
Like 99%.
Like 99%, with your exceptions of, like, say, a Sidious or even maybe like an Anakin. But like, because he doesn't have the Force, he needs to finish his task before the Jedis that he is ordered to kill can use that advantage over him.
Right, before they can have that moment to center themselves and become completely calm. In Revenge of the Sith, the novelization, which is one of my favorite novelizations in all of Star Wars, one of my favorite books, period, in all of Star Wars, it talks about how Obi-Wan doesn't even perceive himself as fighting when he's dueling Grievous. He falls completely back on his use of the Force, and he allows the Force to move his lightsaber in a way that even a living being could not. And that's one of the only reasons why Mace Windu says Obi-Wan is perfect for defeating Grievous, because Obi-Wan is almost tailor-made to beat Grievous because he's got the all-defensive form and Grievous is all-attack. It's been described as Grievous's lightsaber form appears to be very much randomized in lightsaber combat, when in reality it's not. It's perfectly mapped out sequences that Grievous's brain has generated in an instant.
Yeah.
And it's because of his cybernetic brain, or partially cybernetic brain, that he's so adept at lightsaber dueling in the first place. Like you said, he can instantly break down an opponent as quickly as anybody that has studied lightsaber combat. And then not only can he map out exactly what they're going to do, he can map out the correct response to them.
Yeah, no matter what fighting form it's from. It's just like whatever attack would be necessary for the moment, he could just instantly generate in that, like, programming in his head. Right.
And I also want to point out, Grievous was not only just designed to take out Jedi in one-on-one combat, he was designed to take out Jedi in groups and on the battlefield as well. And even to exploit weaknesses that Sidious saw within the Jedi. For example, on large battlefield engagements, Grievous would actually specifically target civilians and pick locations on the battlefield with large populations of civilians, so that Jedi would have to either choose between saving them or winning the battle, which I think is really ingenious. Another thing that Grievous has is that if he ever felt in the slightest that he was going to ever lose a battle, he would opt out. He would retreat immediately.
Yeah.
And that's what he was taught to do by Dooku. Dooku basically told him that if you don't win the battle in the first few minutes, you need to leave, and then you can come back again and terrify them again.
Yeah, because that's where his advantage goes away. He only has that advantage in the early stages of the conflict. But once the intimidation and the fear kind of goes away, that's when he's more backpedaling than anything. And he doesn't, like I said, have the Force. So he can't rely on that to save him in the end of a battle. So it is interesting that Dooku is aware of his weaknesses to the point where he tells Grievous to flee instead of to continue fighting. Because he definitely isn't a perfect fighter.
Something else that was kind of unique about General Grievous is, unlike other Jedi, he could actually keep these fast sequences, these fast flurries of lightsaber combat. He could keep them going because essentially he's cybernetic, so he doesn't really get tired. Where other Jedi, like we saw Qui-Gon Jinn in his duel with Darth Maul, they fatigue, they get tired. When an individual like General Grievous doesn't really get tired. So I think that that's another thing that works hugely in General Grievous's advantage. Another thing is he can attack from multiple avenues at once. Obviously, his 4 lightsabers allow him to attack on different sides of an opponent almost, and each lightsaber could be using their own unique form. So it's almost like an opponent would be fighting 4 extremely skilled practitioners of all 4 completely different forms.
He's also incredibly agile, and in the case of say he like loses a limb, he could even grab a lightsaber with his feet and fight with his feet if it was necessary.
Right. He's just incredibly powerful, incredibly dangerous, and as you said, tailor-made to kill Jedi. Not even just tailor-made to kill like a lightsaber wielder, but Jedi specifically. If he were ever to fight somebody like on the level of Sidious or Vader, I do think that they may be able to catch him with their use of the Force, but it would be difficult because of the fact that he's just so quick and he keeps Jedi on the back pedal and Force wielders on the back pedal because of the fact that he knows that if he doesn't, they're going to have a moment to center themselves, use the Force. That's why individuals that are really calm in the Force and really calm overall and have a lot of control, I think, have a much better time against Grievous. Individuals like Darth Vader or Darth Sidious, because of his sheer power, would probably have an easier time stopping Dooku. I'm sorry, not Dooku, Grievous. Grievous definitely, I think, would have that shock and awe advantage against even a being like Darth Vader initially. But as the engagement goes on, I think that he, especially against an enemy of that caliber like Vader, would become less and less likely to win. It's almost like a boxing match, like we've talked before about boxing. We're both fans of boxing, where an opponent that is maybe stronger and maybe even a little bit quicker has the advantage in the first few rounds of boxing, but as the engagement goes on, it's the more intelligent fighter and the fighter that has superior stamina, where the longer that it can be drawn out, that opponent then gains a major advantage, an opponent like a Darth Vader. So obviously the longer it goes, the more it sways in his favor. But the earlier a character like Grievous can take somebody out, obviously it sways in his favor immensely. So in Legends continuity, I do want to make it clear that I think that Legends Grievous is among some of the best lightsaber duelists and the best fighters in all of Star Wars, period. I've even said that I put him alongside a character like Darth Vader as far as like knowledge of fighting styles, just because he almost has cheat codes in his head for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really all I have to say about Legends Grievous. He's amazing. Very much unlike what we got in Star Wars The Clone Wars intentionally, I should say. In The Clone Wars, they didn't intentionally make Grievous... they didn't make Grievous so much weaker without purpose. They didn't want to have another Darth Vader copy. They wanted to have a character that was a lot different from Vader. They wanted the coward. They didn't want to recreate what Darth Vader would ultimately be, which is a character like the Terminator.
Yeah.
A character that doesn't stop, that keeps going no matter what, which is what Legends Grievous is. Canon Grievous is not that, again, very intentionally. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Legends Grievous. Do you have any closing remarks?
I just think, like, as far as canon Grievous goes, and I know we're not talking about it, it's just like kind of missed opportunity things. They could have definitely, while making these prequel movies, they could have focused on, say, either Darth Maul or Grievous for, say, like a trilogy villain in a way where it would have been a lot more effective than what we did get, especially when you look at what Legends Grievous has to offer as far as a character. So I would say it's really cool that even though we didn't get those in the movies, that we do have these legend stories of Grievous and this knowledge of him, because he's just such an interesting, powerful character.
Absolutely. I would say ultimately in the end, I kind of like that we didn't get just a repeat of Darth Vader.
For sure.
But I still definitely understand the appeal of Legends Grievous and understand why myself included and many other Star Wars Legends fans put Grievous on this pedestal, deservingly so, because he's just as terrifying of a character like Darth Vader. He's the proto-Darth Vader in Legends continuity.
Yeah.
He's an experimentation on behalf of Sidious on what are the limits of cybernetics that I will later use on my own apprentice in Vader. So I think it makes sense in both continuity. I don't know which character I ultimately prefer, which version of the character, but they're almost unrecognizable besides their design. Their personalities are completely different. Like I said before, Canon Grievous is a complete coward who is absolutely beatable. While on the other hand, Legends Grievous is not a coward at all. He's very tactical. He retreats when it's appropriate and not when it's not. And I also want to say that in Revenge of the Sith, we sort of got the perfect melding between those two. In Revenge of the Sith, the actual movie, he's a coward, but he's also extremely proficient. So it's kind of like the two of them put together.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts specifically on Legends Continuity Grievous? Do you like him? What version of the character do you prefer? And do you agree with our analysis on the character? Do you put him as a tier 1 duelist in Legends? Do you think that we built him up too much or even not enough? What are your thoughts on the character overall? I know that a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on the character of Grievous, and I'm really interested. Anyway, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have been enjoying the more longer format videos. May the Force be with you.